G'day, this is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today with your daily dose of business inspiration. Topic number 209, the role of feedback in growth. I love these topics. These are things that I have found challenging throughout my career. I am not going to profess to be an absolute total expert on these things. I think I am reasonably good, though. I think I have some very interesting takes and perspectives on things, and I would love to share them with you. I am still learning and growing as I go anyway, and it's just part of being a good leader is knowing that you've still got a way to go with some things, or you're good at this, but you could be better. Now, let's have a talk about feedback and what it means and why I want to look at it in terms of growth. I actually want to look at it from the perspective of you being a manager or a leader or a team leader, someone who is managing a team of people, and you may need to give feedback to someone. And I'm going to focus on constructive feedback or negative feedback. You need to give them some bad news and get them to, or see if they will change their performance based on the feedback you're giving them. Now, it's really interesting because when I started looking into the topic for discussion points, things that I could start to bring up, everything I've read says give balanced feedback, balance it with positive and negative feedback. But then if I go back to the interview I did with Stephen Morris, he actually highlighted that and said this is a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem for really effective leadership and really effective feedback. And I loved his reasoning for it. Everything I've read has basically said balance the good with the bad. And the reason you want to balance the good with the bad is because there's an impact on their morale or their confidence. Or, if you come to them, if you come to one of your team members and say, you did this wrong, that's really demoralizing. It's very negative. It's a real problem. It can become a real problem for them. So everything I've read has said you need to balance it. You need to make sure that you give good, positive feedback, give them something that they're doing good, and then give them something that they're doing not so good. I was listening to Stephen in our interview, and it's something that's really stuck in my mind, is that when you say to someone, you do this really well, they hear that, and that sticks. I do that really well. What follows from that in terms of, however, this area here needs some improvement, and here's some things that we've noted that you didn't do as well as you could have done, just goes by the wayside. People don't hear it because they're thinking, yeah, but I did this thing good. I'm really good. I did this thing good. So I'm actually going to come out against giving balanced feedback in that respect. Don't sandwich it. Don't give good feedback, give bad feedback, and then give good feedback. I wouldn't even, listening to Stephen's comments on it, I'm really working on the I like what you've done, but, and again, I like what you've done, but it's like, there's always something, isn't there? So one of the things that Stephen was suggesting, and I have been trying out, and I think it's working relatively well, is hi, we need to have a chat. This job that you did here, I noted that these things were done in this manner. I would prefer to see them done this way. Or these things here weren't done to the standard that we were looking for. Was there a problem? So ask for the feedback from them as well. Was there a problem? What happened? Did you have all the tools you needed? Because they may come back to you and say, look, I didn't have all the tools I needed, or I ran out of time, or something. But you notice that, so let me just redo that again. Hi, Charlie. This job, I'd like to just go into it in a little bit of detail, particularly this section here. I noted that these areas weren't done to the standard that we needed them to be done to. Was there an issue? Did you have the tools? Did you have enough time? What happened that they didn't meet the standard that we asked for? Now, I'm not blaming anyone at the moment. Now, they may take that as I'm blaming them, but I'm not. I haven't said you didn't do it. Notice I didn't use the you. Notice I didn't say the job that you did. This job that we did here, this particular set of items weren't done to the standard that we would expect. Nowhere in that have I put the blame back onto the other person. Nowhere in there have I implied that they haven't done the job properly. What I've said is that this particular part here wasn't done appropriately or to the standards I needed. What are your thoughts on that? Get their thoughts. What was there something that I missed in all of this? It might be that they didn't have enough time. It might be they didn't have the training or they didn't understand. Excuse me. Sorry. What was needed. Might be that they didn't have the training, might be that they just didn't do it to the standard. But now you've highlighted it, you haven't blamed anyone by doing it. Okay, so thank you very much for that feedback. So, what you're telling me is that there just wasn't enough time to get it done. Why wasn't there enough time to get it done? Now, is that because something else took longer than you expected? Was it that we had underestimated what was needed? Or was it just that you didn't manage your time properly? Not that I've said that, but I'm asking them to give me the feedback. And then at the end of it, alrighty, so we've acknowledged here that this wasn't done to the standard that we would expect. You've told me that this was because you ran out of time to do it, and you ran out of time because you underestimated how much time the other task would take. Is that correct? Yes. Excellent. So how can we fix that in the future? What can I do to support you better, or what can the company do to support you better? And what can you do to improve this for yourself? So now we're doing a two-part thing there where it's not just on them, might be all on them, but it's not just on them because we've got a part as a leader to play in that as well. So now we've got this entire conversation going around it's not any one person. This was the thing. It's a thing that is now at question. It's not your behavior. It's not your performance. It's not anything to do. Well, not that it's not anything to do with you, but it's not personal now. We've depersonalized it. We've taken it out. We haven't given them anything to focus on in terms of, but you did this really well. I'm going to come to that in a minute. But you did this really, really well. We are now just focusing on the thing that needs improving. And then as we get to the end of it, it's okay, now how can we fix this? What do we need to do to make sure that this doesn't occur again? Now, often I get, sorry. Often I get from my team members, I will do better next time. I understand that this was a problem and I will do better next time. Or I will tell you if there's going to be a delay next time, because that's normally what the issue is. It's not that it didn't get done in time. Yeah, that's the end issue. But the issue is that I didn't know about it, so I couldn't manage it. I couldn't manage expectations. Okay, and then so that then gives us this nice thing all wrapped up with a nice little bow that we can then put aside. And then I say, and how are you doing? And if I know something about them personally, they're my team member, I should know. It's like, oh, you're playing how's your guitar lessons going? How's your band going? How's the kids? Are the kids over the flu that they had? How are you feeling? So now I'm bringing something personal in, and now we can have a conversation as two people just to discuss what, just to smooth it on out. I don't finish the conversation there in terms of, right, you this was done wrong and now we've addressed it, so on your way. Now I bring it back to being a personable thing. And then at the end of it, it's like, you know what? I really appreciate the work that you do for me. I really appreciate the effort that you put in. Thank you so much. And let's see how we go getting this other issue sorted out. That's great. Thanks so much. Isn't that a different way of handling it? Now, that not only does a couple of things, it gives me some insight into the processes that are in place. It allows me as the business owner, as the team leader, to look at where my bottlenecks are and any potential issues I might have. But for my team member, it also helps them to develop their own growth mindset because they're getting feedback. They're getting and this is where all the information that I have actually tracks on in now. They've got constructive and specific feedback. So it's not the constructive part of it is this here wasn't done to the standards we expect. The specific part of it is this thing here. This is what we're talking about. This is the issue. I haven't done a balanced approach as I've seen recommended in all the textbooks at the moment. I haven't really given them anything positive as part of that conversation. I've stopped the conversation and then given them some positivity at the end of it. I've given them the opportunity to tell me where they need to learn or where they need more support, which is great because that's part of the growth mindset. And sometimes it might be, okay, so I need you to go and learn about this. Here's some training courses. I'm happy to pay for you to go and do some training. I'm happy to here's some resources that I found were really useful to me when I was doing these things. Maybe they'll be useful for you. So I'm encouraging them to go out and learn and be curious. I've tried to be empathetic and supportive. Empathetic in terms of, okay, so you were having trouble because you ran out of time. I understand that that's an issue. In future, perhaps you could, or in future, please let me know that you're going to run out of time so I can manage it. And then supportive, how can we do this better? What do you need from us to make this better for you, or so that you can do a better job next time? I'm being supportive. And finally, it's a collaborative approach. It's two-way communication. I'm not just saying this was done wrong, do better. I'm asking for input. I'm asking for feedback from them. I'm asking questions so that I can fill out my bits of knowledge around what happened, what went wrong. And I don't like using the term went wrong, by the way, because it has really negative connotations to some people. But hopefully that is useful to you. I've certainly found it a very interesting process, changing my own language, my own discussion points, my own approach on it. I struggle sometimes with getting that language right. It's so easy to say, you did this wrong, instead of, okay, I like the look of this. This, however, is not to my standard. This is a great start, but this is not to my standard. Here's the standard I'm looking for. What is it that you need to be able to meet that standard? Very different. It does require me to stop and think. What do you guys think? How do you handle your feedback in your business? How do you provide feedback and encourage growth and skirt the issues of demoralization and negativity that comes along with it? I would love to know your thoughts. Leave some comments if you can. Come across to Locals, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can join the conversation there. As always, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. If you can leave a review wherever you are watching or listening to this, I would appreciate it immensely. And maybe you would share this content with someone else today. That would be fantastic too. I will see you all tomorrow for topic number 210, and I'm just going to look up what that is. Haha, following on a little bit from today, the power of positivity. I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Bye.